Welcome to the seminar and to the launch of the Global Geologic Geohazards and Risk Network. Thanks so much for joining, and while you're please stay muted while we get underway. Thanks especially to those in time zones for whom this isn't an ideal time. It can be very early or very late, or perhaps the middle of the night, depending on where you are, and that's true for some of our speakers as well. First, I will share some housekeeping. There is simultaneous translation available for this seminar. So you can use this QR code, or Kim, can you please put the link in the chat as well? Great, so you can go to that link, select the language of your choice, and receive either written or audio simultaneous translation. We'll keep people muted as we go through the speakers today and save questions for the end. Feel free to contribute in the chat as we go along, and we'll try to address the questions to the right people as we get to the end. Next, I'd like to introduce the team behind the network and this event. I am Malaika Ulmi, the Program Manager of the Natural Hazards and Climate Change Geoscience Program at the Geological Survey of Canada. And I am joined, and I'll invite them to come on screen and say hi, by John Schneider, Director of Schneider Geohazards and former Secretary General of the Global Earthquake Model Foundation, and Sahar Safaie, founder of Sage on Earth Consulting, currently Disaster and Climate Resilience Solutions Director at Arcadis, formerly also of a variety of organizations many of you may be involved with, including the UN Office of Disaster Risk Reduction. I would also, John and Sahar, do you want to turn on your mics and just say hi so folks know who you are?
Good morning, good afternoon.
Greetings, everyone. Great to see you this morning, or not see you yet, but great to have a nice turnout for this first seminar of GeoRiskNet. Thanks.
Great. Sahar, do you want to say hi?
Can you? Okay, sorry, I guess I was partially on mute. Good morning, good afternoon. I am Sahar, and it's a pleasure to have such a great participation. Looking forward to this session. Thank you.
Great, thanks. I'd also like to acknowledge our task team who have served to guide us in kind of strategic directions and ideas as we get this network underway. So their names are online here, on screen here, and they come from a variety of organizations around the world, and they've been fundamental in kind of keeping us, helping us fill gaps that we've observed in this community. But with that, I will turn it over to John to share kind of information on the network and then introduce our first speaker.
Thank you, Malaika. So this is GeoRiskNet. This is the first seminar that we've had. We've just initiated this organization, so we thought it'd be appropriate to tell you a little bit about it. Many of you who are online have been interacting with us, but quite a number of others, for you, it's the first time. So I'm going to start with basics. What are geohazards? And I think it's relevant because this is even a debate within the community as to what should be included or what shouldn't. But generally, geohazards are geological phenomena that pose risks to human life, property, and the environment. Very basic definition. But the hazards include earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunami, and landslides, as well as sinkholes, avalanches, and ground subsidence, depending on your particular interest. So anything that's driven by geological processes, either deep within the earth, the tectonic, so-called tectonic forces, or more superficial processes, which are more local. Overall, geohazards are responsible for on the order of 10% of deaths and 25% of economic losses due to all natural hazards. But they also tend to represent the largest proportion of really large disasters. So 50% of deaths for those disasters that have unfortunately led to more than 100,000 deaths. Next slide, please, Malaika. So to put this further into context, geohazards really come together at what we call subduction zones, which are the places where tectonic plates come together, particularly oceanic plates and continental plates. The subducting plate to the right is heavier and more dense, and therefore sinks underneath the continent. But it also locks at the interface as the tectonic forces are driving these two tectonic plates together. So you periodically, so every 100 or so years, you might get a very, very large earthquake that breaks that interface. And in addition, as you move down dip from that interface, you have the melting of the upper surface of that plate, leading to volcanic eruptions. When an earthquake happens, it often triggers tsunamis, because the upper plate there is then flexed and affects the water column and drives potentially very large tsunamis that can cross an entire oceanic, cross an entire ocean, which we'll hear about today with the Kamchatka events. Obviously, landslides can also occur from ground shaking as well. So you had this confluence of all these processes leading to multiple hazards. And again, today's presentations will describe in detail how this came to pass in Kamchatka at the end of July last year. Next slide, please. So what are the gaps and challenges? Why did we, what is the driver behind GeoRiskNet? Just very briefly, we found there have been perhaps hundreds of people looking into this over time, but we found that there's generally poor access to information for geohazards in that broader context. Lots of information on individual hazards, but lots of gaps as well. Poor coordination internationally for developing understanding about risk assessment. Geohazards themselves tend to get left behind in a world that seems to be predominantly concerned with hazards that are driven by or affected by climate change. And there tends to be a disconnect between hazard risk assessment and what we call resilience decision making. That's really bringing the sort of end-to-end, the science through to the application together. So this is an area we'd like to focus on. There's no international organization that actually addresses geohazards or has direct responsibility for coordinating activities across the planet. Next slide. Just to give you a little bit of a flavor for the organizations that have been involved and are working with us, I'm focused here on international bodies, international networks. There are many, many organizations and individuals sitting behind these. So we have the Global Earthquake Model, the World Organization of Volcano Observatories through IAFSE, which is an organization of professionals that works with volcanic observatories around the world. The Global Tsunami Model and the World Community of Geological Surveys are all essentially networks of organizations. Then we have the World Bank Group, which runs the Understanding Risk program and brings in many professionals across the not only scientists and engineers, but also disaster managers. And at the UN level, UNESCO and UNDRR have been quite supportive. Next slide. So GeoRiskNet aims to facilitate collaboration, access to data sets and tools and expertise, promote capacity development, particularly in developing countries, advocate for geohazards within the broader community, promote and facilitate guidelines and information that can support multi-hazard risk assessment. If you want more information, we've just put out a newsletter. We have a website, and obviously you can also email us to find out more.